Elon Musk is dropping an absolute bombshell right now. X is about to launch XPay. He confirms that this is now in its final phase. Bank transactions and payment options will be enabled here. And now let's take a look at what all this means for Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin actually going to be implemented here? We also have Jack Mellers, who has released a new commercial in which he explains that Bitcoin is mathematically destined to keep going up. Fox News is absolutely losing it, actually saying that Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan, who used to be the biggest opponents of Bitcoin, are now massively opening up to it. What is going on here? And we have new companies that are now buying Bitcoin. We're heading through San Salvador now, doing an ultra bullish Bitcoin tour. Leave me a like down below so we can make even more awesome content. Bitcoin is really looking very, very strong right now, and we're going to take a look at that in a moment. The news is totally back in the game, and we're talking positively about Bitcoin because now things are really starting to take off. This week we still have the big conference, which starts today in Las Vegas, the Bitcoin conference. But first, as I said, leave a like below, subscribe, and now let's get started. We now have Bitcoin here for the 19th day in a row, over 100,000 US dollars. That's an absolute record. We've never had anything like this before. The last time we broke the 100K mark here, it was for significantly fewer days, 6 days to be exact. And the crazy thing is that we're now building a foundation here. That doesn't mean there can't be another pullback, but it could be that the new HODL base is being formed at 100,000 US dollars. That means enough people have now sold their Bitcoin, and then we can finally break through that mark. That's just a psychological barrier. 100,000, 500,000, 1 million. There are psychological barriers at those points. Enough people have to sell first so that you can finally build up from this level. It's like a skyscraper, where the sellers have to be gone, and then with new buyers, you can keep building the skyscraper bigger and bigger and bigger. Just recently, I posted a chart here, and it was from Is It Here, or rather, it's a kind of betting exchange, and people are always betting there on what the average price will be, where people think Bitcoin will go wild this year. And by now, we're at 142,000 US dollars. That's not exactly hyper bullish, but we have to keep in mind that people are actually betting their money on this. So, in the bear case or the base case, we're topping out at just under 140,000 this year, which honestly isn't too bad. But a lot of people also believe that 200,000 is easily possible this year. And then, like I said, this week we have the big conference, Shade Events 2, Trump Brothers. Then we also have, and so on, who are here in Las Vegas as well. I actually managed to get a reporter on site who can give us updates from time to time whenever there are big announcements, because we're already getting word. What do you think will be the biggest announcements here in Las Vegas? Feel free to write me your tips below. There were rumors that a company that's been around since 2017 is supposed to make a big announcement here, one that's been involved with Bitcoin since 2017. Some people have speculated about Dell, others are now guessing GameStop, because they actually still need to announce that they bought Bitcoin. There are all kinds of speculations going around right now. Feel free to write it down below if you have any insider information or if you have a hot tip. Honestly, I don't think the stories about Dell or GameStop are that far-fetched. Now we have some new companies here again. Now there's a new Japanese company that's actually buying 200 Bitcoin here, and the company is called Remix Point. I've never heard of it in my life. And from what I understand, they want to accumulate 1,000 Bitcoin here. Right now, they currently have 200 Bitcoin. Metaplanet is the super hyped stock here in Japan. And in Japan, it's sometimes the case that it's difficult for investors to hold Bitcoin directly. That's why they use vehicles like Metaplanet. And of course, it makes sense that they're now getting some competition, because it's simply tax advantage for Japanese people to invest in Bitcoin through vehicles like Metaplanet. Even Focus is already publishing articles about it. A man and his steel ball Bitcoin. The new central bank is called Michael Saylor. So Michael Saylor is basically the new shadow central bank here. That was actually my theory, or a video I once made, that in the future it could happen if Bitcoin companies like Strategy, Metaplanet, Nakamoto, 21 Capital, and for example David Bailey, who has already dropped some hints. If people like that release BIT bonds, then they could make the central bank obsolete. If you want to know exactly how that works, you should check out some of my previous videos. I explained it in detail there. Oh right, something else just came to mind. The blockchain group from France has also raised more money to buy additional Bitcoin. That would be the best performing company in France. So, yeah, at the treasury level, things are really taking off right now. And I honestly expect that there will be 1, 2, maybe even 3 major announcements at the Las Vegas conference, either from new companies or from existing ones launching new products or doing something new here. Jack Mellers will be there, David Bailey too, and of course Michael Saylor will also be there. So basically, all the major treasury companies are represented, including the French blockchain group. Pretty funny, there's also an Australian senator here. A Bitcoin critic just posted here, saying that Bitcoin is really, really bad. He says that Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme manipulated by BlackRock, and that you can't eat Bitcoin, so it's really bad. So you can really see the level some of these critics are operating on. He'll also be at the conference. And before that, he posted a really arrogant photo of himself standing in front of his private jet, saying, "Hey, I'm probably the only one here who actually understands Bitcoin." So he definitely has a lot of hubris, or actually, a lot of these critics do. They really have this crazy arrogance, thinking they know everything, that they know how things work, and that they've understood Bitcoin better than Michael Saylor, or BlackRock, or Larry Fink, and so on. And that's why they feel entitled to criticize Bitcoin here. But when you come out with stuff like you can't eat Bitcoin, that's honestly a pretty weird argument. And I think the whole Ponzi scheme argument has already been debunked by now. Check this out. That's a real skyscraper. So I think the city, San Salvador, when you write about it, yeah, San Salvador, the last time I was here, there was barbed wire and stuff in some places. Yeah, there are still a few leftovers from back then, from the whole gang thing. But it's just a big city. It's actually pretty cool. There are some cool spots here, and some not so cool spots. Take a look at this. For example, we're walking past this fruit truck right now. They've got fruit here. Let's take a quick look inside. They've got all kinds of stuff. Melon, tomato, papaya, and so on. But let's keep checking out the area. Look, I already spotted something back there. I'm going to walk over there now. Some kind of tower. Definitely the craziest thing that happened. And we'll also check out the stuff from Fox News and Jack Mallers in a minute. But what's really wild right now is that Elon Musk has finally dropped the bombshell. There have been rumors for a long time about what's going on with XPay. He's been teasing it for a long time, but we never really got any details. And now he actually posted a tweet about it earlier, or, depending on when you're watching this video, it might have been a little while ago. He says here, confirmed by Elon, X is launching X money soon. Payments, banking, the everything app just got even bigger. And then he says here, hey, there will be a beta phase at first, and it will be available to a very limited number of users initially, because when people are involved and people's savings, that is, their deposits, are at stake, everything has to be handled and approached with extreme caution. And that's why he's launching a beta phase first, to test things out. And now there are two scenarios. Either he goes the open source route, which many people here have always advocated for, meaning, for example, that Lightning is integrated, that he integrates Bitcoin, that he makes everything public and open source, and so on. But there's also the second scenario, which is, for example, what New Web criticized a year or two ago, that he's basically creating a kind of Wapy alternative to China, where you can do everything, but where you're also completely trackable, where all your chat histories are stored, where of course all your tweets are there, and where you could build a social credit system. All payments would then go through the platform. The banking, as he already mentioned, would also run through the platform. People would save money in the app, pay in the app, and so on. That would be the dystopian version. Feel free to write in the comments below what you think, whether it will turn out to be the dystopian version or more the bullish open source version, where even Bitcoin could be included. I mean, maybe Doge will be included too. I mean Dogecoin. And we have to keep in mind, when it comes to network effects, the platform really has a lot of potential to generate a huge network effect and even bring some disruption. I don't know how much disruption will actually happen, or if there will be any real innovations or anything like that. But I have to say, of course, this is once again a centralized approach, which is something that should be criticized as well. So I'm still a bit conflicted, because the idea is that Elon Musk has actually only made losses with X so far, and now they're launching XPay. And with XPay, you can really cash in and make money. It's like they made this investment, but now they want to get their money back, and XPay is how they're planning to do it. I mean, that could be one way to look at it. I don't know if that's actually the case. Like I said, let me know in the comments below how you see it, whether you're critical of it. In any case, this could be a turning point for the future of payment development, how payments will work in the future, or maybe how they won't. And now, let's check out Fox News. What happened here is absolutely wild. This clip is an absolute banger. The way the narrative suddenly shifts and Fox News is suddenly super bullish on Bitcoin, even making fun of Bitcoin critics.
Oh, how times have changed. 4 years after calling Bitcoin worthless, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon says that clients can now buy the cryptocurrency, but it doesn't mean he's buying it himself.
I'm not a fan of it. We are going to allow you to buy it, and we're not going to custody it. We're going to put it on statements for clients. So, I don't think you should smoke, but I defend your right to smoke. I defend your right to buy Bitcoin. Go at it.
Go at it, right? Jamie Dimon, who also called Bitcoin a pet rock, understands that personal feelings can't get in the way of business, especially not while business is booming. Bitcoin topping records today. You have it above 111,000.
So just check this out. How crazy is this? They're just making fun of Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan here, who used to be against Bitcoin. I've already talked about this in another video, that now, just like they're saying here, they've realized, okay, there's money to be made, we have to make money, so we have to get on board. Now we also need a Bitcoin strategy here, and we have to open up to Bitcoin. Even though he says Bitcoin is a pet rock, and that Bitcoin is terrible, and just for fools, and whatever else. So it's pretty wild that now they're at the point where the media isn't going after Bitcoiners anymore, but instead they're going after Bitcoin critics and saying, look, Bitcoin is at 111,000. So what do you actually want? And now let's check this out. Jack Mallers. This is also a fascinating clip. Here, he explains why Bitcoin is mathematically designed to keep going up. Just incredible.
Yo, you. Yeah, you. Check out these price charts. It started in 2012. Same thing happened in 2016 and again in 2020. Why does Bitcoin keep going up like this? Well, it's shockingly simple. Prices are a function of supply and demand. When supply shrinks and the demand holds, there's only one direction the price can go: up. Bitcoin is an asset where this is programmed. About every 4 years, the rate of new issuance is cut in half. No intervention, no debate, just code. In 2024, this happened again, while demand for Bitcoin did not slow down. Institutions are buying, businesses are buying, and now countries are starting to pay attention. The real question is, what's your Bitcoin strategy?
Jack Miller is basically explaining the Bitcoin escalation mechanism here, and says that it has always happened the same way. In 2012, 2016, 2020, and there are still people who think Bitcoin is going to zero. But no, we always have the same mechanisms. We have a limited asset. Every 4 years, we have the Bitcoin halving, which means the payout every 10 minutes is cut in half. What happens then? The demand stays the same or even goes up, but the supply keeps getting smaller. So you just have to put 2 and 2 together. You really don't have to be a total illiterate or anything. You just have to. Roundabout, first household, hey, oh, and if you can just put 2 and 2 together like that, then you get it. And if you also study the historical patterns, you'll see that Bitcoin has this escalation upward every 4 years. And we're just about to hit that right before this escalation moment. It should happen by the end of this year, the beginning of next year, or maybe the middle of next year, something along those lines. And now he says that institutions are also getting involved. With every cycle, new buyers come in. Now we have the BlackRocks and so on, the sailors. Those guys weren't around before, but now they're in the game too. When things start going up again, and then we end up back in a bear market. And of course, people start freaking out again, like, Bitcoin is dead, but Bitcoin never dies. Bitcoin just keeps on going. There are pullbacks, the weak hands get shaken out, and then you basically start over again, and it goes back up. And that's just something you need to know. So hey, if you still want to buy Bitcoin, I'll drop a link down below, 21 Bitcoin. Check it out. You can easily and securely buy Bitcoin. And with the code Bitcoiner Thailand, you can still save up to 20% on fees when buying Bitcoin. And if you want to be part of it, tomorrow is your last chance for the immigration webinar. Sign up below. We'll cover a whole range of topics: how to gain more freedom and self-sovereignty with Bitcoin, how to build a life abroad, how it all works, and how to leave Germany or Europe. Sign up below, and I'll see you there. See you then. Peace out.